Good morning in Japan, and good evening or good afternoon, depending on what other country you are hailing from. I am Unrested. This is JFAQ. I'm checking in real quick just to let you know everything in Osaka is still 100% okay. Some people still sending me messages asking me how I'm doing. I'm totally okay. Osaka was 400 miles from the epicenter of the earthquake, and we didn't really experience too much. In Tokyo, things are still a bit touch and go. They're still experiencing some aftershocks there, which is pretty much expected. You might not know it, but after the giant Kobe earthquake, there was actually aftershocks for up to a year, actually. I have a friend, you may have watched his videos, Kansai PJ, told me he moved there right after the earthquake had happened, and he felt aftershocks for over a year after that. So it's pretty common after a giant earthquake like that to have quite a few aftershocks. Anyway, moving on. I want to let you guys know that I'm updating every so often as much as I can with my super busy schedule. Before, as you know, I used to update every single day. Absolutely impossible. Working a full-time job and having a kid and being married doesn't really let you do that. But I wanted to just let you know that I'm going to try and make videos as much as I can, because I still really do enjoy doing this. Even though the videos are few and far between and sometimes up to 3 months are never posted, I do really care about, giving you guys a little bit of information here on Japan, what little is left. At this point, I will admit I pretty much do get asked the same questions again and again, which honestly at times can be a bit frustrating, yes. You can only answer what kind of degree do I need, or how do I become an English teacher in Japan so many times. After a while, I've just stopped answering those emails or comments because I've posted it so many times on here, it's ridiculous, and no one seems to watch this first video 101. So that's okay, whatever. I'm not expecting somebody to sit down there and watch all 130 videos. I don't think I would sit down and watch 130 of my own videos, so I'm not going to expect you guys to do that. Anyway, moving on, I actually have been working on a side project, and this side project will actually be posted to YouTube, but it will also be a complete DVD that I will make, and it is a documentary. I don't really want to utter out the title just as of yet because it may change. I do have a title for it, and it has already gone into production, but pretty much what we're talking about is a DVD that focuses, or a documentary I should say, that focuses on every single step of my own story of coming to Japan, and then taking that story and breaking it down and letting you know all the details of how that part of my life worked. Now, I'm not saying it's getting really personal about my own life. What I'm talking about is following my story of coming to Japan, then stopping the story intermittently to let you know the information for yourself. Okay, this isn't me, massaging my own ego for an hour, which would be ridiculous. This is actually for people who are very, very interested, and most people who do watch my channel are either very interested in learning about Japan or coming here. This is to help them with each individual step, because it's kind of scattered between my videos right now, and I have talked about my own story before, but it was just a brief synopsis. So, pretty much what the setup is going to be, just to give you a little preview, is a comic book setting, which I love to do comic books, as you know. It's actually what I majored in college, sequential art, the fancy name. We take the story step by step through this comic book of my life, stop it, and then talk about all the details that you yourself will have to go through. For example, simple things like immigration, and how do you send in your degree, how do you send in your transcripts for your grades and things like that, how long you might have to wait, how different parts of Japan have different waiting times, where it's easier to get approved and where it's harder to get approved, how strict some of the laws are, and I even need to do some updates on the laws. That's another reason I'm making this documentary, is some of the laws have changed for immigration, such as re-entry visas. That law has actually been changed. And other things that have been changed is after 2011, All elementary and junior high schools need to have an ALT teacher, which is an assistant language teacher. Okay, and that has opened quite a few jobs. And now, after the giant earthquake, quite a few Gaijin left. That opens even more jobs. So I mean, it's a pretty killer time right now to actually come here and get a job. So this is definitely a very current topic, and something I want to open you guys' eyes up to as far as those who are very interested in moving here. One other thing it covers is the actual stages that you kind of go through when you move here. Your first 3-month period, for those of you who really wanted to come to Japan, will be like a honeymoon with Japan. Everything is amazing at that point. Everything is great. There's a lot of exploration for you. There's a lot of things that you'll learn about the culture, a lot of traditions you'll learn about, and you'll be absolutely smitten by Japan. But usually, and this is, just a guesstimation, at about 4 months, you go through kind of a realization that, wow, this is really my life now. I'm not just a tourist. I'm trying to actually build a life here in Japan, especially for some of you who are going to try and stay past a year. And that's kind of where stuff starts to get real, or as Betamax DCs would say, shit gets real, okay? And you really have to start to focus on not just enjoying things about the culture, but learning how to adapt to it. Learning the language, learning customs, and what I think is really important, learning about harmony in the workplace. I don't know if you can hear that. My poor little guy's got a cold right now, so he's coughing back there in his room a little bit. But this is the most important thing, is learning how to adapt. There really is a lot of adaptation for becoming part of Japanese society here. I'm not saying you totally learn how to lose yourself and your identity, but there is a time and a place to be yourself here in Japan, and there's a time and a place where you need to kind of really conform to custom if you really want to make it in this country. And that's what I get into. But anyway, enough about that. I just wanted to give you a quick update, let you know how it's going. Hanami pretty much just ended. That was our, Sakura Festival. I put a little bit of footage in there at the beginning, I think. And I think you'll enjoy that. Other than that, have a great day, great night, or great afternoon. This is Unrested. I will see you next time on JFAQ.